Hello and welcome. Ron is taking the night off, but we are still here bringing you Hearthcenter tonight. I am Marty B, and joining me, we have a fantastic cast tonight. To my right, we have Diamond. Diamond, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been quite a bit, so super exciting. Right below me, I have Ducharmo. Ducharmo, I love the green screen you have up every single time you're on. How are you doing tonight?
Thank you. I'm doing good. It's a scuffed green screen, but it works.
Yeah, couldn't tell. It's perfect in my eyes. So,
Thank you. You could tell sometimes it takes off my headset here. So
all good. But glad to have you on, you and your perfect green screen. And
thank
finally,
you.
to the bottom right of me, we have the special golden, because he's showing up 3 times this week, so we got a triple. Dr. Fish. Fish, how you doing?
Yo, I'm doing good, man. I'm having a good day. Whew.
Yeah, that's really great. Well, we have a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into it. And we have players of the week. Okay, so Diamond, do you want to start with the hero player of the week?
Sure. Let me find that. So yeah, for the hero player of the week, we have Carvalho. So he started NPH's week off, right, with a 3-2 win over the mighty Lotus Knight, who's not here today, who's somehow in the two seed as well. He won a spicy tech inclusion of with a spicy tech inclusion of Keymaster Alabaster, and that was written by your mom, Ked.
Yeah, Lotus, I'm not Lotus Knight. Itachi just decided to go with her mom kid's write up. So thank you, Itachi, for using the submissions own words.
Yeah, thank you, Itachi, and your mom kit for
Yep.
that. So, Fish, do you want to get the next one? We have Legacy Player of the Week.
All right, I'd be glad to. The legacy player of the week this week is none other than RoboCats, a focus of discussion last night on around the saloon. So we have quick write up. Hello, hello, hello. What a Cinderella storied season RoboCats is having. Once a fifth seed and now a one seed by his own hand. A lot of people were wondering, could he bring the same level of competitiveness to the one seed that he did in the fifth seed last season and expect similar results? Well, with a 3-1 victory over Downtown, RoboCats is showing everyone the one seed is exactly where he belongs. Clashing with Hockey Boys this week will uh, oh, yeah, clashing with Robocats this week. Will Robocats be able to continue the fabled run through the first seed, or is this simply a flash in the pan for his success? Only time will tell, and we wish you the best of luck moving forward. That write up is by Corridon.
All right. Congrats to Robocats there. Now, next up, we have the Wild Player of the Week, and this goes to Lord Zav, the man himself. So, let's see. This is straight from Lord Zav. I play my matches in between trips to the ER every week. Usually, this seems like no big deal. But when our Wild Player of the Week for week 2 did the same, it turns out it wasn't just for fun. Instead, Lord Zav overcame both medical issues and a tough opponent in Lasagna to put up a 3-2 win for Mancrick's Revenge as part of their 1811 victory over the Pog Merchants. Congrats on the win, and we hope you're feeling better. And Dr. Bomb added to that. Now, finally, Ducharmo, do you want to tell us pro?
Can somebody tell me the name? Hold on, am I muted?
No,
Oh,
you're
you're
No,
not
good.
muted. Good. All right. Can somebody tell me the name of this so I don't destroy it?
Ex Kume.
yes.
Ex Kume, because I was going to destroy that name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a boomer self. Ex Kume's second THL match was Sunday night in the one trying to take down runner ups from last season, Popeye's Spicy Chicken Sandwich. Oh, I love that team. A cool 1-3 win with it all on the line got NPH their first win of the season. Rookie of the season incoming, and that is from Based Inc.
Very exciting. And last but not least, outside of the card game formats, we have Battlegrounds Player of the Week. Diamond, you want to go for this one too? Oh, do we lose Diamond?
No, he's muted.
Diamond.
My bad. I responded. I was like, all right, let's
It's
do
all
this.
good.
So in BGs, so we have our player of the week is Steffi. So sometimes a team is in the cusps of making playoffs. It is the final week of the regular season, and the other teams are not far behind. You need a star performance to seal the deal and make sure the team makes it. In comes Steffi, getting first and second places in her lobbies this week, which is core to get Bob's Babes into the semis. Keep your eyes out to see his great player and caster continue to shine on the battlegrounds. And that was written by Lotus Knight.
Very well done
Yes.
by all our players of the week. Congrats on that. But we do have a ton to talk about. And I'm thinking, how about we start with the hero meta report, guys?
Awesome. Let's do it.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
Let's get into it. Now, on your screen, we have the most popular lineups at the top. 5 most popular. The most popular in hero was actually 3 and 3 this week. Paladin, Priest, Rogue, Warrior. Nothing special there. 11 game wins, 10 game losses. So it did have a positive win rate, but it didn't change the match results. After that, we have Mage, Paladin, Rogue, and Warrior. And Druid, Paladin, Priest, and Warrior tied at 5 brings each. The former lineup went 3 and 2. The latter lineup went 2 and 3. And then we get down to our final popular lineups in Mage, Priest, Rogue, and Warrior, and Demon Hunter, Mage, Paladin, and Warrior. Both lineups went 4 and 0. Looking at stats, Druid and Hunter did not do so hot, neither did Warlock. Rogue did extremely well, though, with a 66.67% win rate, 18 and 9. Very good performance. Warrior also did extremely well with a 60% win rate out of 45 games. And we see Mage and Priest just even at 50%. Do you guys have any comments you want to make before we go to the last week?
So I think for the lineups at least, we kind of see a trend with the Mage, Priest, Rogue, Warrior, where they're that deck did extremely well, and I would guess because that was brought in part to kind of trying to target out trying to get put Priest in some bad matchups, as well as having obviously some other good counters. Like Rogue is good into Paladin and Priest, Mage be good into Priest, and being okay into like Rush Warriors. So I think that lineup's gonna keep on being pretty strong. And I'm surprised to see Demon Hunter in a lineup that went 4 and 0, but I don't really know who brought the deck, so maybe they're just really good Demon Hunter players.
Yeah, it's also very strange because Demon Hunter, being at 46.15% win rate, it seems like it kind of just lost, and then the rest of the classes carried it in those matchups.
I think the 46.5 is there's only a difference of 1 where it's like 6 and 7, so at least in the game win rate.
We don't know for
So that makes
sure.
sense.
It's likely that it gets 1 win and then 1 loss. But
Yeah, that's
there-
my guess. That's my guess.
Somewhere there, it still lost an extra game, which is
Yes.
it's a low sample size, but you're hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, I was actually looking at this and I was like, this can't be right because this says 0 Warlock bans, and I remember last week I banned Warlock, and I went to go look at the sheets and I apparently submitted the wrong ban. So there should be because
no.
Warrior and Warlock are the result wise. I put the wrong ban in, so I can see if that was to fix it or not. It's not a big deal, but there should be 1 Warlock ban and 16 Warrior bans. So the ban leader is Paladin right now still.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, that's pretty helpful. Yeah, it feels like as the season goes on, these stats get less and less reliable. So it'll be tough to say how much we rely on it over the coming weeks.
Yeah.
But for now, it's the best we have for closed deck lists, and we take those.
And Shaman has no games played. Feels bad.
Yeah, I really like Hero like overall with the class selections, just because I don't feel like you're pigeonholed into like picking some decks. You can pick like one fringe deck that might have some sort of good matchup that you might foresee. And if it doesn't happen, it's fine. Your other 2 decks can win out. You can't really do that in any of the other series because you're stuck. You have to win with every deck in every other series. So I like the idea of last hero standing and bringing some fringe decks like Warlock and Hunter and Druid, even if you count those, Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Diamond, do you have any other things to add, or are you ready to move on into the recaps?
I'm ready to move on.
Let's do it then. So, looking at the standings right now, we have no pros here at the top with 38 points, just edging out Tan Pam Surf Slam in second at 37 points. Congratulations to Sharmo on that, by
Yeah.
the way.
Woohoo! Tan Pams.
Yeah, you
Still at the
guys.
bottom of the rankings. Please do that to us, Isocles. I dare you. Keep putting us at the bottom. I mean, it helps us, though. I mean, he's right. I heard him on the podcast.
You know,
He says he does it. They do it on purpose.
I gotta
So,
say, Isocles, the way I take Isocles' tier lists, and I think this is the only way. Like, Isocles, you gotta move to Australia at this point, because the only way to read your tier lists are from bottom to top.
No. Only in some cases.
In this case, it is true.
Well,
But,
yeah.
Banter aside, well done
Oh,
to
yeah.
NPH and
Yeah.
Tan Pams. Great start so far. But with that said, we do have a match to discuss. Diamond, you want to tell us about Murloc and Load versus 1337 Squad?
Sure, let's go.
Oh no, is he muted again?
No. No, he's not.
I'm just waiting for it to pop up. I thought you were gonna pop up, or do you want me to?
Oh, it didn't pop up. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I'm
Okay.
we got to scuff
guys. I'm
Op
scuffed.
Center, guys.
Yes, I'm washed up. It's okay. There we go. Popped up.
Scuff.
All right,
All
here
right,
we
yeah.
go.
So Murloc and Load kind of just went crazy. Sunday, the person who desperately wants a hero team, got a sub in, got the 3-2 over previous champion Skirt Reynolds, and then yeah, this is just the remnants of the team of last season with a couple new people. They got owned. Cherub's gang of goons, Bone Masher, Cherub, everyone winning, even No Way. Very close though, a bunch of game fives. So yeah, and some interesting classes I would say as well.
Yeah, I was talking to Sunday about this, and one of the things he really appreciated about Murloc and Load when he subbed in was their immense communication throughout. It seemed that even though a lot of these guys are wild players, I know Sunday, Bodemaster, and No Way, as well as Cherub, play in the Wild Series primarily. They're still very strong as standard players too, and this week shows that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
seeing
and
them,
my boy, picking up that 2 seed. One thing I like about teams like Murloc and Load, if you can get a 1 and a 2 seed that are lower PR that can handle their own, you can really stack the bottom seeds. And Noah Noah lost his first week, but picked up a big win over Turtle, who's no slouch, and Adair picking up a huge win over CMAC, who's also no slouch. So if you can get first 2 seeds to do that, yeah, you're in a good place.
absolutely. Yeah, these guys are definitely a team to watch out for. So keep an eye on them. Next up, Fish. I want to know some stuff about NPH versus Blast. What can you tell me?
All right. Of course.
And this time I made sure to put it on the screen.
Nice. All right. No pros here versus BLAST. Agent PWE versus Avi went to PWE 3-1. Carvalho versus Lotus Knight. As we saw, Carvalho taking the 3-2 and the player of the week in Hero. With that result, your Mumked taking a 3-1 over Robocats. And Disco taking a 3-0 over Mako. And then Quaz taking a 3-2 loss to Saku. Saku starting 2-0 in Hero. Looking pretty good, looking pretty solid there. But the rest of his team failed to get a win, and so 18-8 goes to MPH.
Yeah, this was a very dominant win by NPH here. Just taking 4 to the 5 matches and sending them all the way to first place. Well done on them.
Yeah.
This is like the same thing as Murloc and Load. You got Agent PWE and Carvalho in the 1 and the 2 lower PRs, beating 550 players or around 550 players. It goes to show you. I mean, you got our mom kid in the 3, which is ridiculous,
Mm-hmm.
and Disc in the 4, which is good too. I mean, that just really kind of helps out your bottom seeds there. So good job on those top 2 guys getting wins.
Definitely. So, any other comments we want to make before we move on from Hero?
F2L and Dad Legend had a dogfight. This last week, that match was insane, and my team picked me up for getting swept by Yellow Dart. So thank you guys.
Yeah. It was definitely a close one. F2L just on the cusp of having the logo on the screen too. Third place. So look out for them to possibly make that appearance next week.
Yep.
Now, on to a different format. We have Battlegrounds. So,
nice.
looking at the team standings right now, Lemurs is still at the top, followed by Concede Your Match. Then we have a bit of a gap. Now, this was the final regular season week for playoffs. I believe the top 6 teams, is that correct? Make it?
Yes.
Yes.
The
So
top 2 get like a bye to the finals, and the other 4 are gonna play this week to enter the
Yes.
finals.
that's right. So Lemurs and Concede Your Match were way ahead, and they pretty much sealed their position in the buys for a while now. The 4 teams playing this week are Bob's Bounty Hunters, Phantom Force, F2L Silver, and Bob's Bouncers. Bob's Babes just missing the cutoff by 2 points at 199.1 points. So close.
No, they made it. I think no. Oh no, they didn't.
They were just off.
Just short.
Just
Bob's
too short.
Bouncer keeping the babes out.
No.
You gotta love it.
Yeah,
I don't
both
know
teams.
if any
Both of
of
those
you
teams are great.
guys can elaborate, but do you guys know why there are decimal places now in BGs?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
I am not aware.
That would either be a base stink or hat question. I'm like clueless.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just seeing. I was just wondering. Maybe someone in chat knows. They'll probably pipe up and say something.
It's because points
Oh.
get split between ties, according to Rice Bowl. That would make sense.
Gotcha.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So, looking at the lobby splits, we're going to go over Blue Lobby first. So, that was Bob's Bouncers, Bob's Bounty Hunters, Concede Your Match, and You Ottawa GGs. Ducharmo, how good are you at
Forgot to add
UBGs?
Super Chicken there.
Oh, plus Super Chicken. I'm so sorry. It was cut, so I didn't know.
You want to say that one more time? How good am I when?
How good are you at BG's recaps?
I am probably the worst person you're going to ask for, but I will gladly. I can go over some of these.
I will take up that challenge and see if I can do worse than you.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, this is all yours.
Darn!
I saw what you're doing there.
You can tag me out if you need to, Desharmo.
I know some of these names.
Alright.
Yeah, I mean, Fire Emblems. I mean, this was. I mean, he was great last week, and now he's doing great again this week. So, just picking up the 1-2 again. Like, isn't that what he did last week?
I believe
I'm not
so.
mistaken?
Yes.
So picking up the 1-2. My boy Hockey Boys picking up a win over there on the lobby 1, and Yasher really good 2-3 there, just really ever so close to getting top 1 there on both occasions. Top 3 on both times is really good, and I like my boy Matador sitting there at the bottom. He's a good guy. I think he was just filling in though, if I'm not mistaken.
Bunny and Mad at Arms filled in for
Yeah.
one of the teams.
Yeah. Bunny
Yeah,
with
look
a,
at Bunny there. He got a 5th place. I mean, that guy.
yeah, it's for a sub, that's pretty good.
5-6 tied
Yeah.
5, 6, and 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not bad. All right,
Yeah.
Tucharmo, I put you under enough stress now for me to prove how bad I am at BGs with the B split. So we have BV Bat doing incredibly well with a second place and first place finish for a total of 18 points. They were easily the favorite coming into this lobby split. with 90.5 points. After that, Zorilla, aka The Register, aka FBM2, aka Valera, aka whatever their name is now, had a first and third place finish, tied with for second as well. So they tied with Artie in the second game, who came in fifth in the first. Also a very good showing by them. Next up, Super Chicken, who I can't forget with the U Ottawa GGs, had also a very solid showing in this lobby split. Third and fourth place, Jay Crick. I hope I said that right. Is it Jay Crick or Jay Crick?
It's probably, I don't know. It's one of those two.
God, I'm terrible at this. Please, don't get too mad. I'm sorry. So they got sixth and fifth place, tied with fourth actually in the second match. Not too bad, just getting those points, hanging in there. After that, Corden getting the fourth and seventh place, Phoenix getting eighth and sixth, having a bit of a rough showing, and Blue Jay struggling a little bit this week with seventh and eighth. Ducharmo, I think you might have done better than me.
I don't know about that, but we could just call it a tie.
We'll do that. All right.
Yeah.
So next up, we have the Green Lobby. Diamond, how are you feeling about this?
I haven't looked at BGs at all this season, so I should be fine. But I know some of these players, so
Great.
let's see.
Look at my boy Blue Sombrero. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Man's a monster at BGs.
He
So
is,
let's see.
yeah.
Is friends of Bob's Bounty Hunters from last season?
No.
No. Bob's Bounty Hunters is Bob's Bounty Hunters this season. They were in the blue lobby.
What? No, I think I think the I think that
Ross?
that-
Wait.
Oh, no,
no,
you
I
were
think
right.
I think that I think some of these names are wrong in here
Okay, I'll
It's
see
okay.
who I know. So
Oh, I know what it is.
Andraste
because this is
Jumbo.
bounty hunters in this lobby. And
Yeah,
Lemur
Guys,
goes
don't worry
blue.
about it. Don't worry about it.
All right,
I'm just
I'll
washed
keep
up and
going.
I didn't update
All
the
good.
BGs.
You got
lobby.
this,
You did
Marty.
the op stuff. So Andraste and
It's fine.
Jumpflow are Bob's Bounty Hunters. Of course, they got that first and third. Blue Sombrero, not sure what team he's on, but
He's on
killing
F12
it.
silver.
Gotcha. Okay, another playoff team. Don't know who McMariner is, but went from 8th to 1st. That's always nice to see.
Yeah, he's a pretty good sub.
And then
Yep.
Bill is on Friends of Bob's, I think. Him and
I think so.
Mike.
It was Bill and I
Bill
think
and-
it was Bill and Jammies.
I think it's Bill and Mike.
Okay.
And then
I have
Jamie's
no
the
clue.
keeper. And then Wild Nine, the captain of that team in the B. Oh, do you want me to do both, Marty, or?
Yeah, you can do both. I
Okay, sure. I'll do both. So Wild Nine, the captain of that team of Bill, he got first and second in the lobby. Really good performance. Hoppa Bear got fourth and first. Superhero, who is also on that team with Wild Nine, did really well. Is really good as well. Went 2 and 5. And then Coles, and then I don't really know whoever else. I know Reverb plays Wild Australian and Wash in the Wind is here in Itachi and Pocky. But yeah, it's almost as if the teams who made playoffs did well and got a lot of points this week, and the teams that weren't in playoffs didn't do as well.
I said this
Yeah.
last week, but who would have thought the Mass Hysteria simulator that was all RNG on the surface was actually skillful?
I think that's what we should say every week about BGs, just to remind the people.
I need that reminder myself every week because I have no clue what I'm talking about. But I see numbers and I recognize names, so I can say something and pretend I know something. Again, sorry for any BGs players watching. We try our best.
They're just waiting. They're like, "Come on, guys, I need this BG
Yeah.
analysis."
Yeah, it was surprising to see Itachi not do so well this week. I mean, it happens. But him, Coles, Lemur, and Blue have made playoffs, so very happy for them.
Absolutely. Now we have one more lobby to talk about, and this one is updated this time because I did change it. It was always right in the first place, but this one is extra correct now. Fish, how did Bob's Babes concede your match, Feast and Trips, and Murgle Buse do in the red lobby?
All right. So lobby A, this is where Steffi and Riots played for Bob's Babes, and Steffi got our player of the week, so she did extremely well this week. Riots also had a very nice showing, followed by Agent PWE, who has also been pretty monstrous in BGs for both of the seasons. With his teammate your mum Ked, both putting up that third and fourth place values. Dabs and Debs for Murgle Buse, kind of coming in that 5-6 spot. Both Dabs getting pretty close to your mum Ked as far as the splits go for points. And then Cherub and Sunday, my players, had a bit of a rough one. Both players getting in some really large ties. And then we got our B split, which is Lil Nanko getting a second and a first. We got the letter W, third and second. Bree Guy, first and seventh. So getting kind of a getting like kind of a polarized split, similarly to what we saw with like McMariners. Trestis getting a fifth and a third. G Kick a fourth and fifth. JR getting an eighth place and a fourth place. Lotus Knight, a seventh and sixth. And then Swebe having a rough week, sixth and eighth. So yeah, it looks like the top half for the A split, Bob's Babes did really good with Steffi and Riots, and then Trustus went about even, and Sway just had an unfortunate week. And that happens in battle. You can see Sway had 61 points on the season, which was, right in the middle for her lobby. So, overall, these teams, Bob's Babes and Concedure Match, looking to kind of extend their lead, and not let the another team come in and take that second place. And then Bob's Babes just barely missed playoffs, but put up a really good fight.
A thing to add as well. Dabs and Brie guy actually won the Tespa Open BGs. I
Yeah.
think before this as well. Maybe obviously Brie came in as a sub. Maybe things could have changed. They could have snuck into playoffs. But overall,
Yeah.
and also just interesting to note, just like last season, Lil Nanko and Lair W may be the higher MR players, but PW and your mum kid are carrying that team, and that's really nice to see. And I think that's half the reason why they made it to finals, because those guys are killing the game with 83.3 and 82.5 respectively
Mhm.
between the two, which is
Yeah.
insane.
They're basically MVPs. Like, both are MVP candidates on the same team. It's just insane.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a fluke either, because they did basically the same thing last season as well, and they got really close. So maybe this is the season the
Could be.
Concedure Match wins. We'll see.
Could be. Any last things to say on BGs before we move on to Wild?
I'm pretty sure we're gonna not have finals for 2 weeks, right? Because the semis is 2 weeks, or
Yeah,
is
semis is 2 weeks, finals is in 2 weeks after that.
so next week we will cover it. It's not the full picture, but it'll be interesting. I think it's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Yeah, it will be very exciting to watch. So, now then, we have stats to go over in Wild. As usual, because this is an open deck list, we have archetypes rather than actual deck lists. We know the deck lists aren't, or the stats on the site aren't always that accurate, so we rely on this instead to look at the meta. So looking at this, we have Demon Hunter still with a small representation, primarily the odd Demon Hunter with 3 brings. The Highlander and Reno Demon Hunter were carryovers from last week. As for Druid was dominated by Malygos. 11 of the 16 brings there were from Malygos Druid. There was 1 Aggro Druid, 2 J Druids, a Togwaggle Druid, and a Linecracker Druid still. Believe. Hold on. Maybe, I might have been dumb. I might not have updated this. I have not. So I need to update this. Guys, I'm so bad at this.
It's okay.
I am terrible at this. 1 second. Because I do have it here somewhere. Guys, this is why Ron usually does this. He's the one that's usually better with it. There we go. So, the only difference is with Malygos, it's 8 out of 13 Okay,
Mhm.
we got rid of a bunch of different druid archetypes. We have 3 jades, 1 togwaggle from last week, and an aggro druid also from last week, I believe. But the class overall is just Malygos druid right now. For hunter, we see different hunter archetypes this week, but hunter is still barely registering. 2 brings, 1 odd, 1 reno. Mage is showing its diversity. 19 secret mages, followed by 14 waker mages. Then the class gets a bit more diverse with the lesser brings. So 4 Mozaki mages, 1 control Reno mage from the same player that always brings it. 3 LPG Reno mages, 3 Reno secret mages. Some of these secret mages also had Luna's Pocket Galaxy as well, but they were primarily based around the secrets, so they get lumped in the Reno secret archetype. And then an even mage was also brought. Even mage is a little bit different in Wild, because you can do some funny things with the new hero power synergy cards, as well as the Spirit of the Dragonhawk. And that card, there's a 1/3 that freezes minions or freezes characters targeted by your hero power. So there's some funny things you can do there. Next up, Paladin. Hand buff is the most popular archetype there, followed by Odd and Aggro Paladin. Surprising amount of Aggro Paladins considering the archetype was nerfed just before the seasons began. There's also 1 Libram Paladin carried over from last week. For Priest, Reno Priest is the most popular archetype. We have the combo Reno, and then we are forced to separate it with a Quest Reno Priest because a certain player likes his Quest Reno Priest over the normal builds. I'm not going to say who, but we all know who you are.
Yeah, we know who it is.
Outside of the Reno builds, we have 14 Big Priests. No surprise there. Big Priest always in and out of the meta, so it'll have that representation regardless of the meta itself. Rogue is all over the place. The most popular archetype is actually Mill Rogue, but there's only 4 brings there. Every other archetype is just all over the place. We have 3 Reno Rogues, 2 Aggro Rogues, a Kingsbane Rogue, only 1 Kingsbane, which is a huge drop-off from last season.
Yeah.
And then there was a Quest Rogue, an Odd Rogue, and a somewhat controversial Apothecary Rogue. So the reason why this was controversial was because it won, I believe, on turn 4. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, the Apothecary Rogue, the way it works is you run the Rogue Apothecary card, combo it out to pull Deathwing Dragonlord. Okay? And when it gets Deathwing's Death Rattle, you activate the Death Rattle, and it summons a bunch of big dragons. And then your opponent just can't handle the dragons. Now, there is a dragon card that is actually banned from THL because of its interaction with Plot Twist. Yes, Nozdormu. The player did not know this. If it weren't for that, Nozdormu is actually a valid card in the archetype, despite it being a meme in most cases, because APM Mage is a thing, and Nozdormu's 15-second turn timer actually counters APM Mage and just combo mages in general. So it was a valid strategy, and it had some reason to it, but don't do it again. That's all.
Or just don't bring Reno. Or don't bring Nas in it.
Yeah, just don't bring Nas.
Yeah.
So, looking at Shaman, there's 2 Murloc Shamans, 2 Reno Shamans, and an Elemental Shaman. We covered a little bit of the Elemental Shaman last week. If you want to check it out, by all means. Yeah. 22 Dark Lair Warlocks out of the 37. 9 of the rest were Reno. 6 were Cube. Cube has been seeing more representation this week or this season.
Yeah,
not so much discard, but some shifting there a little bit. And then finally we get to Pirate Warrior or to Warrior. Pirate Warrior is the most popular archetype by far. It doesn't seem to be slept on nearly as much as it was last season. Then we have 6 Odd Warriors and a bunch of single archetypes after that. So we have Big Warrior, Dead Man's Hand, which somehow never dies. Hand buff, which was a bit of a surprise. Galakron, another surprise. And Bomb Warrior, which runs no new cards, by the way. So expect this to keep shifting and changing as the meta develops. There are decks that are pretty well established, but lineups are still shifting and being figured out, which isn't really something that other series can say at the moment.
For sure.
So let's take a look at some matches now. So we have at the top, everyone's a winner at 42 points. F2L already played one match, and so did No Fin Can Stop Us, so that's why there's a bit of a discrepancy there. But before that match, No Fin Can Stop Us was actually above F2L, 39 points to 38. So they get their logo on screen this time. See, look at me. I'm not always biased, guys.
Yes,
You should be proud of me.
I am.
Thank you very much. But yeah, it's really close to the top right now. You have the finalists from last season, followed by the newcomers in No Fin Can Stop Us. Mancrick's Revenge seems to have been really slept on in power rankings. I did mention that they would be a dark horse in the preview on the blog. So it's nice to see them at 39 points, 2-0, up at the top now.
Yeah.
Let's see. And outside of that, we have... Oh, I'm so sorry. I was cut off. Outside of that, we have Hair Club, Crab Riders, and Mad Scientists clumped together. Film Yama Rec and Anoyo Team and the Pog Merchants a little bit lower. Film Yama Rec going 0-2, but still 23 points. Very impressive from them. And then finally, Wild THL Fanatics and Bash Bros having a rough start. So, you guys ready for matchups?
Let's do it.
All right, Fish,
Sure.
you want to cover F2L versus Film Yama Rec?
Oh, I would love to. All right, we've got F12 Viridian, the reigning runner-ups and champs of 2 seasons ago. They went up against Felmy I'm a Wreck, which I believe is just a rename from a team of last season. We got Corbett, the very, very strong Corbett, taking a 3-2 over Snake Fods. Marty B, our very own Marty B, taking a 3-2 loss, a close loss to Peanuts in the 2 seed. Get Me Out taking a 3-1 over Mentalistic. Neji Boston taking a 3-2 loss over Kyra. I'm gonna say Kyrex. I'm not 100% sure about that name. And the Rotted Zombie, love the Rotted Zombie. 3-1 over Nefala, and yeah, getting a much needed win for his team down there in the 5.
Yeah, just a solid performance from my team. I'm really proud of them. They
Yeah,
kind of carried me, and even Neji at 2-3 doesn't say much because
he was mega
he
countered.
was hard countered. Yeah,
Yeah,
hard countered by his opponent, and he was still able to get to the 5-game series. So very well done there. Next up, we had Mancrick's Revenge versus the Pog Merchants. Diamond, I know you just entered as a wild captain this season, and this is your team. So do you want to tell us more about it?
Sure. Yeah. Specifically, Maxi's match, there was a discrepancy because he played his match while eating dinner outside, and he copy pasted the wrong list. So both him and the opponent didn't realize till after the match that he was playing with the wrong list. So he actually swept, but then they played again, and then since he had an eligible dex, Sinister Me just had to win once and then got it. So that's kind of unfortunate this week because I think people are still learning, but it was a harder week. But Pace is leading the charge. I think in general, like Lasagna is obviously nuts. Same with Tom and Maxi. Like they're just getting used to kind of how it goes. But yeah, and also just like I haven't captained Wild since a couple seasons ago with a Mimi team, and then I captained the very first season with like it was like base 9 eyebrows and number theory, so it's definitely changed since then. And then I'm trying to learn some of the Wild meta as well to help the players. But yeah, man,
Hell must be freezing over though, because I see a diamond team that's losing. That's not supposed to happen.
I don't know what to tell you. Sure, Champ knows what happened. Diamond's below.
Didn't you
I'm
all-
mess with it.
Yeah,
Like,
all
like,
good, all good.
like last season, you had no losing team, right? Like all your teams were in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, all his
Yeah.
captaincy
Well,
captains. Yeah.
watch his team like start sweeping everything, and then make the playoffs.
Who knows? It's,
Big old middle finger to Desharmo. Hey, watch your mouth. Watch who you talking to.
like obviously it's talking late game as well. It's kind of this is similar to like the For the Boys of 2 to 3 seasons ago, where like everyone was still learning. So
Yeah.
if this core sticks around, I think this will kick it up. But like, I think the gang knows now, like especially the lineups they've been testing stuff, but should be interesting. But
Mhm.
big props to Mankirk's Revenge for the win there.
Yeah, once again, definitely a sleeper team there. Isocles, you kind of did it again, where you had the right ones in the top, but then the rest was upside down. What are you doing? So, all right, enough shade to Isocles there. I am totally not at all salty for all the times he beat me on the saloon. Any other things to mention on the Wild Series?
Apparently, Sunday wanted us to talk about how his team swept Anoyo.
Oh,
I'll
yeah,
say
well,
this.
So good job to them.
You know,
Y'all are
it's
y'all are
okay.
still winning.
Hey,
Sunday.
hey, everyone's a winner. You need to keep winning. Then when you lose, that's when we'll feature you and be like, "Wow,
Yeah.
why are you guys losing?"
Yeah, we get it.
Come on.
You won last season. It's okay. Everyone's a winner. We get it. All right.
But yeah.
We'll wait till you guys
No,
lose. to
congrats on.
Harry Potter,
I mean, honestly, that's a really good feat because Anoyo is a very very strong team.
For sure. So
Mhm.
congrats to you guys, and
Yeah.
best of luck this week. Now, next up we have Legacy, back to close list series. Oh, and wait, did I screw this up?
That says hero.
Hero.
I did. What happened to my Legacy stuff?
Uh.
Oh no, everything was edited. Guys, see, this is what I mean.
Loves.
This is
I
what
mean,
I mean.
I can like. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's
We, either,
cool.
we can either just skip it or we can
I am
do it sketched.
down to skip stats and go
All right,
straight
we
to
can
matches
definitely
if
skip
you want
stats then. I do have them,
Alright.
but guys, don't listen to any of these stats. They're
Okay, I will at least say the best lineup: Paladin, Priest, Rogue Warrior, 12 times 8 and 4.
Yeah,
There you go.
like-
And Mage, Paladin, Priest, Warrior. They're good lineups in general.
if we're being honest, we do this because Ron puts them in, and we all
Yeah.
know they're scuffed, and no one really follows too much on them
No,
because
Uh,
they're so hard.
I
to
have
be
used
relied on.
I've used Meta Report 0 times in the times that I've played.
Well,
As a multiple championship player, I do not look at stats at all.
Yeah.
you'll be getting your $20 after the match, Marty. Ron says thank you for making him look better.
Anytime, Ron.
Love you,
Anytime.
Ron.
Yeah,
Actually, Ron didn't say that. I'm just speaking for Ron. But
yeah. Kurt,
Sure.
curse you slobs for screwing us over. But anyways, let's just
Yeah.
move on to the Gold Conference. This I do have right. So we have a Noyo team and Hot Zilfs at the top, so they get their logos there. 38 and 35 points respectively. The only 2-0 teams in the Gold Conference right now. After
Yes,
that, we have
only.
the Stubbs and Do You Even Tonk close in their tail, followed by Chaos Theory. Then there's a bit of a gap because Orcs That Smorks had a bye. So they're at 21 points, which is insane considering they've only played 1 week. So very impressively done by them. After that, we have Defias Brotherhood and Hearthstone Academy at 0-2. And Meme Dream Team is at the bottom at 0-1. But again, take that with a grain of salt because they've only played 1 week. So the most important thing to take away from this is look at points per week because everyone is going to be all over the place as their buys come and go. So the best tell for how everything is shaping up is right on points per week. Now, the first match we have is Orcs That Smorks versus Hearthstone Academy. Fish, tell me about this matchup.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I mean, if someone else wants to do it, they can.
No, go ahead.
But I'll
Fish.
go for it. All right. So, Orcs at S'mores versus Hearthstone Academy. We have Orcs coming on their first week. We have Neji Boston we have Neji versus Base, Lotus Knight versus Kalos Luna, Buse versus Steffi, Mojo versus Mako, and Clarity versus Saku. We had 4 matches that went 3-2, and then Lotus took a 3-1 over Kalos Luna to start the week. And Neji actually taking the loss to Base Inc., but the rest of his team picking him up. I'm very proud of my players. I will say, this is my first legacy captain team. And they did a great job this week. And obviously HSA is no team to sleep on. Still, they are fierce competitors, even though the records don't necessarily show it. They are still taking a lot of points, after losing 4 matches in a week.
Yeah,
Also
absolutely.
A bunch of new players as well on HSA,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
not new to teach up, but like new to the core
New to
group.
the team, yeah.
Yeah, HSA is going through a shift, but I expect them to turn things around. They always do. So, a playoff without HSA is a very rare sight, and there's a reason for that. So, moving on, Ducharmo, what can you tell me about the Stubbs versus a Noyo team?
Yeah, this was a very close match. Two teams, looking to continue their undefeated, season. Stubbs, both an Anoyo team at 1-0. But Robocats, again, really showing it strong in the 1C 3-1 over downtown. The reason why he got the player of the week this week. And that's no feat. That's no small feat. I mean, taking out somebody who was, I believe he was over 550. No, he wasn't over 550, but he was
Almost
pretty
50,
close. Yeah, pretty close. And then Q, I can't say his name, Catharsis, picking up a huge win. I'm just going to call him Q. Q in the 2.
Yeah, yes, Catharsis.
Q in the 2.
Yep.
We're going to do that. Q in the 2. Nice 3-2 win over Blue Jay, and Doolin 3-2 over Gambler. I mean, these are just solid wins across the board, from an oil team in the top 3, and I like seeing my old Anoil team kind of picking up a win. But this was very close. 32 points is really good. 13 points in a loss is really good. And I think the Stubbs is still in the thick of it. I mean, they're 3rd place right now. Anoil team's on the top. And I honestly think that the Gold Conference right now is anybody's game. Anybody's game. Everybody seems to be right up there, doing pretty decent. Minus maybe Hearthstone Academy, but I think they'll get up there.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a very difficult conference. It seems very strong just from the outside looking in. So it's really anyone's game right now, even with, only 2 teams have the 2-0 record. So it's pretty telling.
Yeah, but I think Orcs is still undefeated because they had a bye. So I think, right?
Yes.
So they're 1-0.
Yeah, we're on.
So
Yeah,
so
because this was our only match.
3 undefeated teams at the moment. So
yes, but they were guaranteed 1 undefeated team, correct?
yeah.
Yeah, there is guaranteed 1 between a Noyo team and Hot Sylphs, probably. Well, yeah.
Oh no, it actually.
Between the Stubbs and a Noyo, yeah, we were getting an undefeated.
Yeah.
It's cool to see the Stubbs still still being kind of together as a team, because 3 of these players were back on the old teams that actually won a couple of titles: Blue Jay, Oz, and Karufinway.
And
I was perusing through my my history of champions.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can do it again.
Yeah,
but until
Looking
then,
good.
Well, this is still early in the season.
Yeah.
But technically, Orcs is kind of in first because they have the most PPW, but they've only played 1 week.
Yeah.
So
we'll
see.
We will see. So with that, let's move on to the Red Conference, where there's a bit of surprise of who's at the top. Illidan's Death Knights topping the conference and having the hardest schedule so far. They had faced I forgot who they faced last week, but they had whoever they faced last week got 20 points in the first week. So they had the toughest opponent. I believe it was Flame Pimps or F2L.
They played.
Was it Flame
I think they
Pimps?
did. Oh, I don't remember. I thought they played. They didn't play Dad Legend, right? The Sharmo. That was F2L White.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, either
They
way.
played. They played Benkyuki Fan Club
Ah,
this week.
and I meant last week, like the week
The
before.
week prior.
Yes, week 1.
Flame Pimps, yeah.
Yeah, so they did play Flame Pimps, and that's why their average opponent strength is so high and makes their week 1 win even more impressive. Flame Pimps did make the semifinals last season, so don't sleep on them. That's a huge win by Illidan's Death Knights. So
Yeah.
after that, there's a bit of a race for second. We have Flame Pimps there because they just got there through alphabetical, and I also have to show that I don't have bias because F2L White is my former team, even though we went by F2L Red before. After that, Dad Legend, who we were just mentioning, is at 27 points. Fish and Dirty Mike and the boys are tied at 26 points each. Then we get to the bottom with Standard THL Degenerates getting 20 points in their first week. Very impressive. Followed by Pod People and Bank Yugi Fan Club at the bottom. Bank Yugi Fan Club being at the bottom because they only played 1 game so far. So once again, take the salt with a grain of salt. Pay attention to points per week as the weeks go on because that's a better tell than the actual points. So with that said, let's go to match 1 between Illidan's Death Knights, who are at the very top, and Bank Yugi Fan Club. So at the top, Rice Bull took it away from Agent PWE. Rice Bull has just been proving over and over how strong of a player he is. I remember this guy started around 400 something PR. He's already a 500 PR player, 2 or 3 seasons in. I expect him to hit 550 very soon, if not this season, next season. Just a very strong player. Yeah, Diamond knows himself. Rice is OP. This dude deserves to be in the 1 seed. He's just going to be dominant in these series going forward. Excellent pickup by Illidan's Death Knights. Next up, T-Stew versus No Glocko. This is a very tightly fought match. T-Stew just barely taking it away in a 5-game series. JR holding down the 3 seed, going 3-1 against Pasca. I know JR and Pasca have a bit of a rivalry going on, so always fun to see them play. Next up, Mad at Arms taking it 3-2 over Snakefods. This is also a very tightly contested seed between the two. 5-game series says a lot. And then finally, Mighty Biz gets swept by, I believe, is it?
He was 1-0, but he's already played this week. Joltsy.
Yes, Julesy. So Julesy took the sweep to give Bank Yugi Fan Club some extra points in the loss. Any other comments on this match?
Happy to see IDK doing well.
Yeah, for
Honestly.
sure. Definitely. Next up, we have Dirty Mike and the boys versus Fish. Diamond, do you want to take this one?
Of course, we're gonna now see chat spam Fish because that's the thing this season. I don't. That's how it goes. But yeah, Dirty Mike and the boys popping off. We have Kazargard, Tony Montana, Megu, and Lefty all winning. Lefty is 2-0 right now. Or I guess they played this week or.
No, they've played 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, hold on. I just can't count.
Yeah.
No, 2-0, Captain leading the way. That's what you like to see. Astral Frog struggling a bit this season, but I mean, called Astral Pog for a reason. On the Fish side of things, Zancat's also struggling out too, and Two Fly, who is not MVP. What was it? They won some sort of award. They went crazy last season. But yeah, nice to see a bunch of stuff. Is there anything interesting here? I mean, there's a druid. I respect that. That's kind of, and a bunch of mages too. Cool to see.
Yeah,
Tony
I don't
Tony
think
Montana
there's-
pulling out a Hunter ban.
I don't think there's too many surprises here. The Hunter ban is the biggest surprise from Tony Montana.
But if you look at the classes, it makes sense actually.
Yeah, it does make sense given the classes. There was also a bunch of demon hunters from Fish. You gotta wonder if they're
Yeah.
gonna change up from that this week given the loss. So
Yeah.
who knows? They were
Like,
definitely the team that brought the most demon hunters this week. So we'll have to see what they think about that, and then go from there. Any other comments?
yeah, I just want to say I really like this meta. It's, I mean, I know we have two classes up top, on HS replay, but in the tournament scene, you can go so many different directions right now. There's not like four decks. There's so many different decks you could bring each week, and there's not like it's not like, oh, you bring these four. There's like at least seven good decks that you can bring, if not more, each week, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's definitely exciting and good to see. Healthy meta is happy meta. So, anything else you guys want to add before we move to the final series?
Let's do it.
All right. So we have Pro, and we're going to look at the archetypes once again because we all know THL stats online are not to be trusted. So, looking at this, 25 Demon Hunters, it seems that most people have been giving up on mid range after the first week, down to 5 brings. Combo Demon Hunter is sticking around though. We have 20 brings there. Druid diversified this week. We have 8 token druids, 7 clown druids. Clown druid is a bit new now. It was seen a lot last season, but last week was no show. So now you're starting to see it again. Hunter is just smorking away. Still only seeing Face Hunter right now. I'm waiting for someone who has the courage to bring what is it? King Crush OTK Hunter?
Your,
I
yeah,
want to see
your
that.
Rocks OTK. That's
mean,
basically Crush.
Rami won with it in specialist and GMs this week, so maybe that inspires some people. Who knows?
I want to see it.
Yeah.
So, beyond that though, we have Mage diversifying a little bit more. 27 spell mages, 6 spell damage mages. It's funny to see all those spell mages despite Deck of Lunacy being nerfed. That card was insane, and yet the archetype hasn't really died. So, interesting development there. And then finally, 3 hero power mages. This was all by one team. Okay, and given the uniqueness of the archetype, I'm sure some of us will know who brought it, but I'm going to keep that for people to find out themselves. After that, Paladin, bit split. Aggro is the most popular though. 24 brings there, 9 Secret Paladins and 8 Libram Paladins. The aggro and secret builds are still pretty varied, slightly, out of like 5 cards outside of the the primary, whether they run secrets or not. So it's a little bit of a development there. People are still trying to figure out the optimal builds given a certain week. Priest is pretty settled though. 58 control priests, 3 rally priests. Interesting to see that some people were convinced that rally priest is the real deal, and new players decided to bring it. We'll see if it continues to increase or if this is just a flavor of the week thing. For Rogue, 28 Secret Rogues. That's surpassed Miracle Rogue from last week. Now Miracle Rogue is at 15 brings. And then Weapon Rogue has 8 brings. Shaman, not dead in Pro, unlike some other series. 3 aggro Shamans were brought this week. Warlock is in a similar position to Hunter, but not going to the face. It's protecting its face. Control Warlock, 16 brings. And finally, Warrior, dominated by Rush Warrior, 51 brings there, but there are always going to be some people forcing that Control Warrior archetype, and we have 12 of those people in Pro this week. You guys have any comments before we move to the matches?
For the aggro paladins, does that include like the Moonfang one as well?
Yes.
That type of. Like, I'm just making sure.
Yes, that includes Moonfang builds, because I figured the curve was low enough that you couldn't really call it mid-range. The only mid-range paladin that was around was, I believe, someone who brought the No Hands build for 1 week.
Gotcha.
And No Hands called it Bait Paladin, so we don't see any more.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so let's check out the standings and some matches in the Black Conference.
Let's do it.
Taking a look at Black at the top. Hyperizon and Group Process get their logos on screen this time. 37 points from Hype Horizon is huge. Group Process right behind them at 32 points. These guys actually played each other in the first week and tied. So seeing them at the top is extremely impressive.
This just shows you how competitive Black Conference is right now. Basically, every team has had a loss or a tie, except Faction. I got to correct that.
Yeah, I think a better way to put it is just there are no 2-0 teams.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's just so much parity
way better.
across the conference.
Yeah.
Really impressive. And even though like Poimlocked is at the bottom with 9 points, if you take away those teams with only one game played, there's no team that is less than 10 points per week, which is kind of insane. Because on average, I think someone did it in the Discord and found that the average points the losing team gets is 9. So everyone's above 10 and just surpassing that. It's especially impressive when you consider that there were so many sweeps last week. It was weird because for some reason, I think the average games per match went down to 3.7 when we're used to seeing about 4.1 games played in a single match. So even with fewer games and points given out, teams are still performing. It just shows that there's a lot of parity here.
Mm-hmm.
Even if, a set of matches might not show that. So, first match, we have Brushy Tuna versus Mancrick's Multiple Wives. Tusharmo, you're on the Tuna. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. The only guy to lose on the team, but my team stepped up big. We all brought Mage, and Mage was doing well. I think it's a sleeper class, especially that Priest is being brought. It does fare very well versus Paladin. I think that when you look at all the classes and stuff, you can kind of say, oh, it's a solid bring across the board. Lefty, my captain and hero, had to put a whooping on me right before my match versus Heat Shock, which I did get a win over. So Lefty showing me who's boss, letting me know that, hey, I'm still your captain, I'm still in charge. So getting that 3-2 win over me, and then the rest of my team just putting in some work. Ron Mexico, I gotta give it up to that guy. He is he was so unfavored. If I were to show you his matchup chart, you would say that he was basically gonna lose. I think his D-Matter had like 30% across the board. So for him to pick up a win, even 3-2 over Jesters is really big, really good for him to do that. And Mancrick's Multiple Wives week 1, I believe they were a 20-pointer team. They were a sleeper last week, and so it was nice for us to pick up a win over a very strong team.
Yeah. Absolutely. Congrats to you guys there. Fish?
I want to just make a point because I think we've gone over every series that Lefty plays in. He has not lost a single series in the 3 series that he plays in between Pro, Legacy, and Wild. And he is having an amazing season. So shout outs to Lefty. And shout outs, obviously, captaining Tampams.
Yeah, that's huge. Lefty is just having a fantastic start to the season, so good on him.
We should do like a crossover stats or something at some point.
That comes next week.
Oh, that does. Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
We are waiting for Donde to rig the stats against all of us. And you watch, Lefty won't even be an honorable mention because it's so rigged.
Dang.
I'm ready for it. We can just shout rigged at Donde.
I'm ready for it all. So
We just get to throw all of them in the chat.
before we do that, though, we have a second match from the Black Conference. That's Hype Horizon versus Swagoi. So Hype Horizon showing why they're in first place this week with a dominant sweep of Spagoi. Banter and Cool Kid 2001 taking 3-2 wins. Liquid Ox doing the same against their opponents No Glocko, Jared Pullet, and Linthesis. Okay, those guys kept it close, but Gamer RVG and D Money came in and just shut it down with 2 sweeps against Cookie Monster and Edelweiss.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of surprised with Swagoi getting swept because these guys are just insane. You know, you never expect someone like Edelweiss, who is one of the best Conquest players in THL, in my opinion. She's really not someone you'd expect to see going 0-2 at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she can turn it around. You know, but Hype Horizon, really, this is just another solid win, getting the points on everyone early, starting to
Yeah.
split from the pack, get ahead, and show why they were champions 2 seasons ago. These guys are good, as long as they change deck lists, which they have been. And as long as they remain unpredictable, they're very difficult to overcome. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna kind of echo what you said. I mean, there's a reason why Hyper Horizon was champions. Every single one of those players on that team you don't want to face. It's not a weak spot.
yeah. It's just insane. By the way, this is where those 3 shamans were on Sugoi's side. One of those shamans actually got banned. Jared Pulit's shaman was banned by Cool Kid 2001. No Glocko losing 2-3 with the shaman in his lineup, and Cookie Monster also falling 0-3 with the shaman.
Yeah, Noglocko's Shaman did not fare well. I believe that was the only deck he lost with against McBanterface in the match that was on Thursday Throwdown.
What a shame. Shaman
Just
bad.
some rough for the aggro Shaman in that one.
Shaman bad.
I think it'll be interesting this week to see how Hype Horizon does during this week in THL with the Masters Tour, because historically they don't do bad, but they definitely don't like crush their opponents because they're more focused on the big tournament with money on the
Yeah.
line.
There's
It just depends how many of them are going.
McBanter's going for sure, and I
Oh,
assume
yeah.
RVG's going because
Okay.
he's been to everyone, and then maybe Cool Kid or Ox. I don't
I
think
think
D-Money
D Money is also going, right?
Oh, is D Money going? I don't know.
I have no
Maybe.
clue actually.
I'm not sure, but I know a few of them are.
Yeah,
I
that's
think a few on Swagoi are also going. So,
Glocko's
Glocko. I think should be going. I know he went
Yes.
last time.
maybe.
think
I
so.
know.
Sure. They're
Who
all-
else is going? Ron's going. That's why he's
Ron
going here.
Mexico, Neji.
Yes.
That's why.
That's a
Ron's
big reason why it's not here.
Yeah,
Oh.
Ron's.
Yeah, right.
You
Yeah,
owe me
Ron's not here. Ron is not here because he's prepping for Orgrimmar. So shout outs to him. Represent
You
my
owe-
team well, please.
We'll
You owe me
probably
a Coke.
We'll probably see some more as well in the Pink Conference.
Sure.
Some more Masters Tour reps.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we will have to see. So, with that said, we have one more conference to cover. And that's Pink. So, let's go on ahead and do that and check out whose logos are there. We have Sheepies at the very top, followed by Clownstone. Sheepies at 41 points, so that puts them at number 1 overall in both conferences. Followed by Clownstone, who's second place overall in the conferences too. After that, there's a bit of a gap. Wash Tappers at 34 points. Popeyes, 33 points. Another small gap there. Hey Loser and No Pros here, 20 and 27 points respectively. Some scrub team at 20 points, going 0-2. Shame on them. Could never be me. And then the teams that had buys, Aeon and Infinite Value, sitting at the bottom. Any comments before we look at the matches?
Is doing well. It's cool to see. They're
Yeah.
the first team to enter the 40-point range, and they did make
Yeah.
playoffs last season. I
Mhm.
think they're still kind of underrated, I'd say, as a team, since it's mostly just Tespo players and that people don't know
Yeah.
that well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
And the Clownstone's Clownstone. Everyone knows the man of many names, Neji Nails, who's I don't know if he still is, was like rank 2 legend on NA. So.
Yeah, he's nuts.
Yeah, Neji is constantly reminding everyone how he's hard carried by the rest of that team. So
Yeah, but I mean, Sheepy's. I'm pretty like. I don't know how many. I feel like at least one Sheepy's player probably is going to end up at the Masters. So I'm not 100% sure, but I was playing a qualifier this weekend. I saw a Zonix who's on that team in it, and he went. I think he went pretty far.
Interesting.
So he seems to be a pretty good player. He's one of those guys who are doing really well on that team.
Yeah.
So what
Well-
match do you have for us, Marty?
Well,
For
Diamond,
conference?
I can give the first match to you, and that is
All right.
Popeye's spicy chicken sandwich versus No Pros Here.
Wow. Now this is a close match. Looks like No Pros here had a plan in mind that some players it worked out well for and some it didn't. With a bunch of everyone brought DH and Warrior, and then it was a mix of Priest, Paladins, Mages, and Rogues. So yeah, X Kume, who was the player of the week, got a win over Myanodon, a nice 1-3. Wet Goose got a sweep over Pasca. Honest Zabe lost to PW, and your mom kid got one over GR Jim. And then Mick won a close game. 5-game series, obviously. Yeah, this is actually a really good match, honestly. I don't know if how many of these were on stream, but you have the finalists of last season, and then you have the other team, a bunch of really good players who are doing well across other series. Probably struggling a little bit in this series, and Legacy your hero. I'm not sure which one, but he'll pick it up because Avi does the winning thing.
Yep.
And then you have the PWE, your mom kid combo, and BG's also doing well in standard because they're good at the game.
Yeah. Good player is going to do good in pro. So, any other comments on this matchup?
I'm not sure who's qualified for the MT on this. I feel like there has to be one person.
I feel like
Wet
Mick or
Goose, I
Wet
believe,
Goose.
is. Wet
Yeah,
Goose,
let me.
I think, qualified via top 16.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I can try looking.
I think GR Jim is also another Masters Tour player.
Yeah, they replaced. Who did they replace from last season?
They replaced Bobby EX.
Bobby
Yeah,
EX.
They basically someone who also does well Masters Tour. They've brought in.
Yeah.
JR Jim, and doing well. One so far. But yeah, close win for Nopers here. Probably a needed one because Popeyes is a monsters team, and they need all the points you can get.
Absolutely. 14-12, very close. So, Fish, I'm going to give you a special one. One of these teams, the ones that brought the hero power mage that I was talking about earlier.
Oh, let's go.
We got Wash Tappers versus Infinite Value. Tell us about it.
All right. Wash Tappers versus Infinite Value, and it looks like Wash Tappers is the team that brought the Hero Power Mage. And they got a full straight sweep 20-5 over Infinite Value. Ufric taking a 3-1 over Clone. MMW taking a 3-0 over Easy Bake. Heat Shock with a 3-2 over Interval. Valdis with a 3-2 over Pedros 99. And CMAC a sweep over Race C. Yeah, I mean, I Infinite Value definitely gonna bounce back. I mean, I look at this team and this is the core of. It's kind of like the top 3 of Meme Dream Team, and then they have Racy, who's who's a very strong player. And I don't know much about Pedros 99. So I'll have to maybe see how they perform this season. But really good on the Wash Tappers and the Hero Power Mage. Because it was not banned, it got wins for all 3 players who brought it.
Yeah. You know.
Uh,
Oh, go ahead, Dushama.
I was gonna say a little bit surprising for me was the L from the 3-0 from Ray C. I actually met Ray C in person. He's a pro player. He plays a lot of tournaments. And there was South by Southwest. I think it was 2018. I was an admin for a tournament, and what do you call it? Actually, I'm having a little brain fart here. It was in Austin, and I got to meet him and talk to him for a while. And it was really awesome to talk to him. He's a really nice guy. Racy is, and he has some things going on, and told me all about it. And he told me some of his personal life stuff, and he's a really nice guy. And I know him. I see him. He has streams from time to time, and he does another podcast. And I watch him, and he's an amazing player. So for CMAC to just pick up that win over Racy is a huge accomplishment for CMAC.
Absolutely. Really goes to show, Wash Chapters means business this season. And I really hope they are because I really want to put their logo in one of these corners. It deserves to be seen by the world. So, if anyone hasn't seen their logo, do check out the reveal stream. It's top tier.
Oh yeah.
Do improve. So, and I believe that covers all of Pro, and we have covered everything. So
That was a speed run.
it really
Oh
was.
my gosh.
It really
yeah.
was. Do you guys have
You could just
any
move
other
on.
comments on Pro before we wrap it up?
Yeah, as you said, I really like the performances of Wash Tapper as well. I know
Yeah.
your team's not is struggling a bit, Marty, but I think your team is some people that you shouldn't be counted out. Basically, yeah. I think still early. I think you're gonna show people that wild players can play standard as well.
I just want to say Corbett has been playing standard. He played as recently as Year of the Raven. At that time, he played both wild and standard, and he actually had double rank 1 during the Rastican medal with Hybrid Hunter and another wild deck. I don't remember which. But he is very capable in standard, which is why we won with him besides, us playing on the same team in wild. And Daravis had taken a few seasons off in THL, but we all know he's just an insane player, so he's sure to turn it around. Chain Magician had a rough first few games last season too, and we all know how that turned out. So I'm not too worried. And like you said, I think there's still a lot to look up to with the team. So should be exciting as the weeks go forward.
For sure.
So with that, let's transition to the main screen. And now it is time for the RNG card of the week. And for this week, we actually don't have a play because this card just got played throughout the entire game. And this was between Mr. Python and Rice Bowl this weekend. And both were playing Priest. Priest, of course, being the de facto RNG card generation class at the time right now. And RNG card of the week for them was Skeletal Dragon. We had 4 of these played, and every single one generated a ton of value. We saw all different kinds of dragons. They just dictated the game, and it was just all over the place. So this is our RNG card of the week with that. You guys have any comments?
I'm excited to see this because I know this card can get kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had a clip, but Lotus came in and was like, don't even bother with the clip. It was so long because Priest mirrors are so freaking long, and these guys came in at all different points of the game. You can't show them all. There were so many dragons from it, and just, he's like, don't even bother. So unfortunately, all I can do right now is just say, Skeletal Dragon is the card. If you were there, you know. If you didn't, you had to be there. I don't even know because I wasn't there. This is thanks to Lotus. So if you want to yell at anyone, blame Lotus. That's all I can say.
All right. I was trying to set you up for the transition, but if there's no transition, I think...
I wish there was. I really appreciate it, but no transition this time. It's been getting more difficult because the way the meta has gone and the way card sets have gone in general, there's less card generation now. So we are limited to what kind of generation we'll see in the formats. It feels like the 1/3 Poisonous Scorpion is a strong candidate over the coming weeks because it's one of the few discovers left. Skeletal Dragon is one of those cards that are left that generates something. Priest in general has a ton of card generation that are random and often wins games. As we saw with this card, a lot of classes just are kind of lacking that, though. They picked up in card draw instead, which is always great, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But the discover mechanic and random generation overall is really toned down compared to previous seasons. So, how do you guys feel about that, by the way, with less card generation in the format now? or just in the meta in general, I should say.
I'm personally really enjoying this meta because I feel like I think especially with watch posts now, like I don't get maged and I feel like I'm more in control of my games. And then this meta does seem more difficult and it's more skill rewarding. So it's a nice change, honestly, from the past couple metas that we've had.
Do you, Sharma, any comments?
I kind of a little bit of the opposite. I like those metas. My favorite one of some of my favorite decks were card generation decks. I loved Galakrond Rogue before it was nerfed. And then I also my favorite card of all time is Deathstalker Rexar. So two of the most biggest offenders when it
Oh
comes to
no.
card generation. Um, I just
Bipolar.
think I just think Deathstalker Rexar gets a lot of hate. I just think that card just needed to be tweaked a little bit to make it a little bit more balanced in terms of mana. But other than everything else, I think it's not that bad. I love games. Just one thing I love about Hearthstone is, you know, when you're playing it and you get these random generated effects, each game is different. And I know that each game is different technically when you play decks that don't have random generation in it, but they could be wildly different when you generate cards, and I think it offers a lot of different choices for you to play. Sometimes you have to generate a card and you have to figure out, okay, which card am I going to get? And sometimes that card sits in your hand and you wish you had another card. And so I really like games like that. I know people are gonna be upset about that, but this is how I feel. That's my experience with that.
It's only possible in a Hearthstone as well, right? You can't do that in a paper card game, only an online one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I've been playing Classic for the last few days now, and I feel like that's one of the things Classic mode is lacking. It feels like playing Constructed Arena, if that makes sense, where it's just
Yeah.
whoever sticks the board first and keeps the board wins. There's not a ton more beyond that. It doesn't feel as difficult as some of the more high-powered modern metas that we've had. Yes, there's no generation, but that also kind of hurt it in the fact that I don't have any ways to deviate from my game plan. And
Yep.
I'm forced to play each game almost exactly the same. Or each matchup, I should
Yeah.
say. So whenever I play against a control warrior, I have to play exactly one way and I can't shift from that game plan. And the same can be said against stuff like Zulok or Miracle Rogue. It doesn't matter what I'm playing against because every single time I play against those decks, it always feels the same. So it's good to see that they added different forms of RNG and variation. There's ways of making controlled RNG, which I think they're trying to get back to and just limit it to the point where it's still fun and it offers outs, but it's not kind of dictating where the game goes and how it ends, which is always good. So I personally like the way it's been going right now. So very exciting. Any other comments? No? All right. So that means we are just about to wrap up. Diamond, do you want to start with anything you want to say?
What do I have to say? Check out tomorrow. Our boy Fish will be live with his show Tavern Talk, and then check out the matches this weekend. And Desharmo, there's something you should sign up for. That's Sunday. That's more. I'll let Desharmo talk about that more, but you should sign up. It'll be a good thing to sign up for.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, Ducharmo, I'll come to you last to talk about that.
Okay.
Fish, we're going clockwise on the screen. So, what
Sure.
do you have any final things you want to mention?
Well, I was going to mention Tavern Talk. Thank you for mentioning that, Diamond. This week's guest is going to be Claus. So that's a cool shout out. I believe Claus um was a long running member on one of the talk shows. I might have been Tavern Talk.
On Saloon, he
It was
like,
Saloon. He started the Saloon. So bringing him onto a talk show again is gonna be really cool.
Yeah, it should be a fun time. Make sure to tune in for that. Be a lot of fun. All right, Ducharmo, you have stuff to tell us about. What is it?
Yeah, we have a new thing going on during the season. It's sorry, I can't even think right now. It's the tournament. The we call it Super Wicked Sundays, and we're gonna do like a different rotating series throughout the season. I kind of pinged everybody in the Discord, so if you're not in the Discord, it's something that anybody can do. It's going to be different. We're going for niche tournaments, so we're thinking about things like Nosstone and Strike and Wild Last Hero Standing. We got something in there where you're not going to see that, in the THL. So I if you guys are interested in any of those, they are every Sunday at 5, not every Sunday, every other Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And this week is Classic. We're going to be doing a Classic tournament. I'm opening up the registration for everyone on the Monday before the tournament. It's going to be a first come first serve basis because we're only going to allow 32 players. We don't want these things. I mean, I don't expect it to be a lot of players, but we don't want them to be running all night long. It's kind of a little fun little thing. And on top of that, there are prizes for winners. So go ahead if you're interested in those. Go ahead and sign up. And I have some people ask us about classic, like a classic series. And so I think this might get a little bit of that taste out of your mouth, of classic, getting into this tournament and trying out, the good old days of salty THLers. So why don't you guys check that out? It's in the announcements in our Discord if you're interested.
Yeah, thank you so much to Sharmo. And that sounds really exciting. So definitely check it out. Thanks again for everyone coming here. I just want to say thank you, Diamond, Fish, DeSharmo, all for helping me. Thanks, Ron, for usually doing this. I hope I made you look good enough this time, because I definitely screwed up quite a bit. But it's okay. We can just blame Slobs, just blame Donde, as always. It's always Donde's fault. Isocles, get better with your power rankings. We all know they're backwards. The usual banter and trash talking. It's all good. We all know I'm washed up anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, with that said, thanks again for dropping by. We will see you next week on Hearthcenter. Tomorrow, tune in to Tavern Talk. As Fish said, we have Quaz on there, and it'll be very exciting. There's going to be matchups on Thursday as well for Thursday Throwdown. I think there's matches on Friday and Saturday too, and we are planning some stuff for this weekend on Schoolstone. If you guys want to reach out to any of us, hit up Saku or Lotus for those. We always love having people on stream, and it's a lot of fun. So once again, thank you.
Do you mind if I say one more thing? I'm sorry, I just kind of cut you off there. The Super Wicked Sundays series, we're not really planning on doing any streaming or content this week because BG's is in playoffs right now, and we don't want to cut any of that off. But there might be some content in the future, maybe this week. It just depends. Just kind of keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in maybe casting and you don't want to play Classic, kind of just mention it to me, and I can kind of put you down on a sheet that I keep for all my potential casters.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun.
I actually have a quick thing I probably should say. I don't know if it was last week, so I released Ron's interview for the Masters Tour. I have another one that will come out shortly. I'm interviewing a certain dog of THL. You might know who that is. So that will be coming soon before the Masters Tour, hopefully, that he's playing in. But yeah, just teasing that. I forgot to mention that during my part.
Well, looking forward to that. Definitely check it out on the blog when that releases. So, any final words from anyone? Got it all out this time?
Yeah.
Love you guys.
Great.
Love you, Charmo.
So,
No, I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to the THL.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I was just kidding.
all right.
End the stream.
All right. Well, thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night.